the mayor's report. There was an executive session held earlier this evening to discuss collective bargaining for RCW 42.30.140(4)(a), and no action is anticipated to fall in this evening's session, open session. I also want to make an Affordable Housing Week proclamation tonight. Whereas all people should have access to safe, healthy, and affordable homes within communities that provide opportunity, and whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development defines affordable housing as housing on which the occupant is paying no more than 30% of gross income for housing costs, including utilities, and whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated many existing financial constraints for low and moderate income households, and whereas housing stability and staying socially distant from those outside of our household has become our state's core public health strategy, and whereas everyone benefits from affordable housing, including the people who reside in these properties, your neighbors, businesses, employers, and the community as a whole. Now, therefore, I, Mary Lou Pauley, Mayor of the City of Issaquah, do hereby proclaim October 12th through 16th, 2020 to be Affordable Housing Week in the City of Issaquah. I have another proclamation to do. It's on the topic that Ms. Walters brought up earlier. It's the Mayor's Day of Concern proclamation. Whereas our King County cities recognize adequate nutrition as a basic goal for each community member, and whereas food insecurity, when individuals or households lack reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food, and whereas with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the implementation of strategies to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the community that have led to businesses and school closures, food insecurity has increased in King County. And whereas food insufficiency has almost doubled after implementation of strategies to slow the spread of COVID-19, and whereas food banks, emergency and hot meal programs working within our cities, local churches, social service agencies, and hundreds of volunteers are striving day in and day out to stem the rising needs. However, still more help is needed. And now, therefore, I, Mary Lou Pauley, Mayor of the City of Issaquah, do hereby proclaim October 31st, 2020 to be the Mayor's Day of Concern in the City of Issaquah. And I strongly urge all residents to join the Issaquah Food and Clothing Bank and other area food banks to share what they can to nourish those who are food insecure. A couple of little announcements to add on to. First one is about a farmers market grant from the King County CARES Act funding, and tonight's consent agenda does include a $10,000 grant award for the Issaquah Farmers Market. King County Council has allocated $410,000 of its CARES Act allocation to assist King County area farmers markets in their compliance work related to the COVID-19 pandemic and the delivery of farmers markets this spring and summer. This reimbursement amount was targeted to be between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on how many markets apply with qualifying expenses. And eligible expenses included increased personnel costs and new operational costs due to COVID-19 and the modified protocols. Issaquah offered a modified and safe version of its successful and popular farmers market this season. This was done in close collaboration with King County Public Health in following their guidelines related to vendors, customers, and the event location. The Issaquah market averaged over 2,000 visitors each Saturday. Like all federal CARES Act funding, this grant must be distributed and expended by December 31st, 2020. As a reimbursement grant for expenses we've already made, that will be easily accomplished. And that's all for the Mayor's report this evening. I'm going to move on to the next item under our agenda, which is informational updates. And we have ID 0768. Climate convening recommendations, and I'd like to ask Sustainability Coordinator Megan Curtis Murphy to make a presentation. Megan.
Great, thank